Hi folks, when it hits the fan, who's coming to your house? I've been asked recently by 4 different individuals if they might consider to come bug out towards my way if it hits the fan. Now, this is not the type of inquiry where your non-prepper friend says, "Haha, I'm coming to your house." No, these are all people in various stages of prepping that live in fairly close proximity to where I live. The only difference being that they live in town and I live out of town. Now, I'm not currently a member of a mutual assistance group, although locally we've been talking a lot about it. But I have given some consideration to this question from these individuals. Now, I don't know these individuals really well yet, but I have a good feeling about them. And as I said, they're in various stages of prepping. So I batted this idea around a little bit, and I thought about it, and I thought, what type of commitment would I need from them to allow them to come out my way when it hits the fan? Now, let me say this one thing. This is not coming to live in my spare bedroom. This is bugging out if it's winter time. That means, yeah, at night they can sleep on my living room floor to stay warm, but I just don't have a lot of room. If it's summertime, it means constructing a camp on my property or just nearby. Now, what I've thought about first and foremost is that they need to acknowledge that I'm in charge. It's my place. I'm the boss. If I bug out to where they live, sure, they're in charge, and not only that, I back them. Now, none of this is for my personal edification, but this is just to maintain order and discipline within the group. Overall, it's a good thing. More hands make the work lighter, but you've got to draw the line and make sure that the people that you're getting actually have something to offer. So I've made a little list of material goods that I need these people to bring with them. And this is just in the beginning stages. I've just started thinking about this, and I welcome your input. But what I've come up with is per person that comes out. Oh, and let me put this out there. The people, it's prearranged. It's not, Bob and his wife Emma are coming out, and all of a sudden they bring cousin Fred and grandma along with them. It's the people that are named and in the initial agreement. So for each of these people coming out, what I'd like to see, the level of commitment I'd like to see from them, is 50 pounds of rice per each person, 50 pounds of dried beans per each person, 25 pounds for each person of wheat or flour, 10 pounds of sugar and 10 pounds of salt, and 10 pounds of other, meaning grits, pasta, oats, or any combination thereof. This lets me know that they're showing up with enough to eat for a while. The next thing that I want them to show up with is compatible comms. More on this in a later video, but I had a new friend give me a great tutorial on shortwave and has got me very interested in getting one of these handheld ham radios and obtaining my license. So it would be the equivalent of showing up with comms that they could be compatible with me. Next thing is going to be a shelter or shelter material, whether that means a number of tarps and cordage or a tent big enough to sleep all their people. This is going to be important because, as I said, I have a very small house. Next, defensively, and I've given this a lot of thought because you've heard me say time and time again, especially to new preppers, you don't need to run out and buy an AR-15. That's not what it takes. So what I've decided on is that for that person or for that small group, they need to come with a long gun in a defensive caliber with 300 rounds. Now that can be a 30-30, that can be a 12 gauge, whatever. I'm just saying don't show up with a 22 and 50 rounds of ammo. They need to show up with a handgun with at least 200 rounds. Again, I'm not specifying on this other than greater than a 22 caliber. So it can be a 380, it can be a 38, whatever. And I'd like them to bring some tools, basic tools for living in the country and participating with a group on growing food and harvesting timber. Is going to be a long-handled hoe, a long-handled shovel, a Michigan-style axe, a garden rake, and some form of a timber saw, either a crosscut or a large buck saw type. So this is the basics. And what I'm hoping with this is a couple of these new preppers that have talked to me about it, I'll get them going and help them to start prepping, and they're acquiring this stuff for the purpose of being able to bug out to my location, yet it's doing them good all the same. It's not an over-the-top agenda where I say they've got to have body armor and night vision goggles and an AR-15 and et cetera and so on. It's not an over-the-top type of proposal for them. It is something that's achievable, that will get them prepping, and that will bring them as a contributing member of the group, and not just as a charity case. Let me know your thoughts. I can definitely use the input on this one. Thanks for your time. Stay safe.